Don't move to Paraguay if. Today I'm going to give you 3 reasons why you should not move to Paraguay. Number 1, don't move to Paraguay if you cannot accept others for who they are. I know this is a universal concept that applies to Paraguay as much as it applies to any other country worldwide. If you're looking to relocate to another country, it is important that you can accept people for who they are. We're talking about the local population, its habits, its traditions, its religious beliefs, the whole spectrum of things. Like I said, Paraguay is no different to any other country. If you want to go live in a Muslim country, you better love the culture. You better accept Ramadan. You better accept all kinds of things that are accustomed in that country. If you're going to be living in a Muslim country, then you have to accept the country for what it is. One of the things that throws people apart in Paraguay is that things happen very slowly here. Paraguay is not a fast-paced environment. Paraguay is a slow country. Things here happen very slowly, and I'm going to give you a couple of examples right now. Simple things such as grocery shopping take a lot longer in Paraguay than they take in America or even Europe. It is quite typical for a cashier to start a conversation with you, especially if they know you. Despite of the fact that there might be a line, they might want to start a conversation with you to check up on you, to see how you're doing. It's part of the culture. This is a very conservative culture. We're living in a collectivist country where the happiness of the people is the utmost priority. While it is kind of similar to Spain, it is not exactly the same as in Spain. People here are late all the time. I'm not saying that all people are late all the time, but it happens more frequently here in Paraguay than in many other countries that I have been to. Undoubtedly, the culture has a lot to do with that. And if somebody is late here, it's not because they don't respect you. It's not because they don't want to meet you. It's not because they dislike you. No, it's because it is part of the culture here. Being late is part of the culture. So if you cannot accept this fact, this trait, then Paraguay is probably not for you. Let's say you have an appointment scheduled with an electrician. The appointment is scheduled at 2 p.m. in the afternoon. It's already 2:20 p.m. in the afternoon and the electrician still hasn't shown up. There's a good chance that the electrician will still show up, but it might be 15 minutes to 30 minutes later. This is part of the culture here. People are not always punctual here. Some people are very punctual, but a big chunk of the people you get to meet here, they are not punctual. 2. Don't come to Paraguay if you're unwilling to learn Spanish. Paraguay is a Spanish-speaking country, and English is not widely spoken here. Yes, there are tons of people who speak English, especially in the richer neighborhoods in Asunción and also some other cities, but a lot of people in Paraguay speak Spanish and Guarani only. Spanish is the most spoken language, but Guarani is also a language of Paraguay that is very hard to learn if you have the ambition, if you have the vision, and if you really want to, integrate fully, especially in more rural areas, then maybe learning Guarani would be a very smart idea. Most countries in Latin America have Spanish as the first language, but let's be real, Spanish is actually not that difficult to learn, especially if English is your native language. Being bilingual is a huge asset. If you can learn Spanish, let's say English is your native language, and you make the effort to learn Spanish, you can get ahead twice as fast living in a Spanish country than a person who just speaks English or a person who just speaks French. Being bilingual is a huge asset. It really is an asset, especially if you are living in Latin America where Spanish is the most widely spoken language across most countries. Yes, there are exceptions like Brazil, French Guiana, and probably a few more countries, but Spanish goes a long way in Latin America. So if you're planning to live here for the long term, then you want to learn some Spanish. Yes, you can get by with English. Yes, you can hire translators. Yes, you can utilize friends, but do you really want to be dependent on somebody else for the rest of your life, especially for everyday things? I mean, if you can learn just a few words a week, you can have a pretty good vocabulary in a couple of years. While you should never expect overnight results, I feel like it is important, no matter where you're located, no matter where you're looking to move to, that you make an effort to learn the local language. It is important for cultural assimilation, for cultural integration. It is mandatory for you to learn the local language no matter where you're located. 3. Don't move to Paraguay if you dislike hot weather. Okay, you can argue, well, I'm going to be living in Paraguay during our summer, which is the winter here, because during the winter time in Paraguay it's actually very pleasant. The weather is cool and there are even a handful of weeks where it gets cold. Unless you like hot temperatures, Paraguay is probably not the right place for you. But if you want to escape to a warmer place with warm people and you don't mind higher temperatures, Paraguay is a good place for you. Like in Southeast Asia, it does get very hot here in Paraguay. And I'm not even kidding you. It can get really hot. You know, you don't want to go out during the day because it's just too hot. Sometimes there's a lot of humidity, high temperatures, and they kind of force you to stay inside, which is something that you can balance out by having a swimming pool, by having a good air-conditioned apartment. So there's certain things that you can do to make your time in Paraguay the best time that you've ever had in your life. And here is a bonus if. Don't move to Paraguay if you don't like the people, if you don't like the culture, okay? If you don't like Latin countries, don't move to Paraguay. There are people that don't want to live here because they are not in sync with the whole environment. And that's perfectly fine. There will be a better place for you. There will be a more suitable place for you. Never ever live in a country where you don't like the people. This is like the beginning, the middle, and the end. Go live in a country where you're in sync with the people, with the culture, with the religion. Don't come here if you're looking to change the country. Don't come here if you're looking to change the religion. Don't come here if you think you can change people's beliefs, because you're going to be waiting for a long time and you're going to be creating civil unrest, and we don't want that here. Are you ready to relocate to Paraguay? We would love to help you obtain residency in this beautiful country. If you want to work with Nomad Elite, the #1 relocation agency in Paraguay, where we help people from all over the world obtain residency, incorporate companies, purchase real estate, and even find the love of your life, then please feel free to reach out to us now. You should see our website displayed right below the video. As always, we appreciate you. Thank you so much for watching Nomad Elite, and we see you on the next video.